The Lord be with you.
And with the Spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, Lord.
Tax collectors and sinners were all drawing near to listen to Jesus. But the Pharisees and scribes began to complain, saying, "This man welcomes sinners and eats with them." So to them Jesus addressed this parable. A man had 2 sons, and the younger son said to his father, "Father, give me the share of your estate that should come to me." So the father divided the property between them. After a few days, the younger son collected all his belongings and set off to a distant country, where he squandered his inheritance on a life of dissipation. When he had freely spent everything, a severe famine struck that country, and he found himself in dire need. So he hired himself out to one of the local citizens, who sent him to his farm to tend the swine. And he longed to eat his fill of the pods on which the swine fed, but nobody gave him any. Coming to his senses, he thought, "How many of my father's hired workers have more than enough food to eat? But here I am, dying from hunger. I shall get up and go to my father, and I shall say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I no longer deserve to be called your son. Treat me as you would treat one of your hired workers.' So he got up and went back to his father. While he was still a long way off, his father caught sight of him and was filled with compassion. He ran to his son, embraced him, and kissed him. His son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I no longer deserve to be called your son.' But his father ordered his servants, 'Quickly bring the finest robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Take the fattened cow and slaughter it. Then let us celebrate with a feast. Because this son of mine was dead and has come to life again. He was lost and had been found.' Then the celebration began. Now the oldest son had been out in the field, and on his way back, as he neared the house, he heard the sound of music and dancing. He called one of the servants and asked what this might mean. The servant said to him, 'Your brother has returned, and your father has slaughtered the fattened calf. Because he has him back safe and sound.' He became angry, and when he refused to enter the house, his father came out and pleaded with him. He said to his father in reply, 'Look, all these years I served you, and not once did I disobey your orders. Yet you never gave me even a young goat to feast on with my friends. But when your son returns, who swallowed up your property with prostitutes, for him you slaughtered a fattened calf.' He said to him, 'My son, you are here with me always. Everything I have is yours. But now we must celebrate and rejoice, because your brother was dead and has come to life again. He was lost and has been found.'" The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise you, Lord Jesus Christ.
I have to apologize a little bit on my reading. I got trifocal. Sometimes the words they look a little fuzzy to me. But today's reading reminded me of when I was a young man. I guess 10 years old. I lived in Jersey City, New Jersey, 2nd Street to South Jackson Avenue, and Sacred Heart School. Lived in Brownstone, Fire States, inner city living. And the next building next to me was a good friend of mine. His name was Roy. Now, Roy came from a broken home. His mother died when he was very young, and his father was an alcoholic. And Roy always got into trouble. One day, he tried to burn his apartment down with his dad in it. So he was sent away, and after recovery treatment, he returned home, and his father accepted him back into his life with open arms. His father was still an alcoholic, but he welcomed his son back. Now, Roy had an older sister who had to step up and be the mother of the house. So, Roy, my father, this is probably a little humbling, but my father stepped in and became the surrogate father to Roy. Roy would go with us on weekends up into the mountains, and go swimming in the lake, and picnics, and he did a lot of things with us. So my father stepped in and watched over Roy. That's probably a whole different conflict, but it just reminded me of today's reading, the prodigal son. Now, the prodigal son is three characters. There's the father, there's the older son, and there's the younger son. Now, when you read this on the surface, you say, okay, the prodigal son is the young son, and that's all there is to it. But as I read through this, studied it, it was so deep and so powerful. That the younger son, who recognized his sins, and he came to his father for forgiveness. And during the Lent season, we did repentance. So we asked our Father to forgive us of our sins. And you have the older son, who felt, hey, I'm in the right, I deserve everything. He looks down at his younger brother, very self-righteous. And then you have the father. Father, and I don't know about you folks here, but with my children, I always have my own broken to them. Whatever they do, good, bad, they fall, I get up, I love them. So, show mercy. And this is what the Father did. He showed mercy to his son. If you think about it, God does the same thing. Unrelenting mercy. Forgiveness. No matter what we do, even though he knows we will sin, he is always there with open arms. A while back, my sister-in-law and I were talking. And she said to me, I'm waiting for God to do something. And I said, what's wrong? God's always waiting. He's waiting for you to do something. And so with the Father, when the Son came back, he opened up his arms with mercy, and he loved him. God was over there. Now, the beginning of the gospel reading today talks about Matthew and the Pharisees. If you remember, when Jesus was in Capernaum, he came across Matthew and he said, follow. So Matthew got up, followed Jesus, and that night he had a party with all his friends. Prostitutes, sinners, and Jews. And the Pharisees stood outside, and they were condemning these people. Saying, how could Jesus spend time with these people? And that relates to the older son. So if you look at the parable again, it's not really about the younger son. It's about all three characters. Father showing unrelenting mercy. You got the older son, the self-righteousness, and that comes from pride. And I think we all have a little bit of that in us. We have our pride that gets in our way. Sometimes blocks us from God. And then we've got the younger son, who is the sinner, but he recognizes his sins. And he asks for forgiveness. And we all do that. So, it's an interesting parable. It really caught me. And you probably all wondering why I'm holding this. Well, it relates to so many reasons, and I'm going to bring this out very out. And if you look at the line, I got 75 feet here, so it'll be way out there. But this is our eternal life. It goes on and on forever. And if you ever look at a gravestone, you have the date the person was born, the date the person died. You know that little dash in the middle? That's his life. So this little piece here is our life. So what we do in this period of time will dictate so we get to enjoy our life. Now, if you're self-righteous, you have our pride and keep God from our life, we may face time when we get to the end of our life. And some of us, our life may be a little bit longer, some of us, our life may be a little bit shorter. But when we reach the end, will we reach the end with regrets? Or will we reach the end and give the promise of eternal life? You know the song, when you're smoking the bandit, there's a long way to go and a short time to get there? That's what this is. And we only have one chance to get it right. So, if we could, if we're sinners, we go to confession. This is Lent. And if you don't recognize our sins like the oldest something, you try to destroy it. The best thing to do is pray to God and ask Him to allow us to see our faults. God is good. Thank you. A little maintenance here. I think at some point I'm going to cut this short because I may hang myself one day with this.